What if I told you that before this century ends, millions of people could call the moon home? Imagine that tomorrow morning you wake up 384 out 400 kilometers away from Earth. Not for a visit, not for a mission, but forever, for hundreds of thousands of years. Every human story has begun on one planet, Earth. Every city we've built, every mountain we've climbed, every ocean we've crossed, every dream we've ever chased started there. But every civilization has a first chapter. This could be the second. After decades of impossible engineering, thousands of brilliant minds, and millions of hours of preparation, everything now depends on one person. You! The countdown reaches 0. The engines ignite. The Earth trembles. Fire engulfs the launch pad. And within seconds, the only home you've ever known begins to disappear beneath you. The sky turns black. Cities fade into tiny lights. Clouds wrap around Earth like a fragile white blanket. Then, for the first time in your life, your entire world fits inside a single window. And suddenly, you realize something. Home was never as big as it felt. Days pass. Inside the spacecraft, time almost stands still. Outside, there is no wind, no rain, no sound, only endless darkness, filled with stars that have watched the universe for billions of years. Straight ahead, the moon grows larger. No longer a distant light in the night sky. Now, it's your destination. Warning, lunar orbit achieved. Preparing for landing. The engines fire once more. The spacecraft begins its final descent. Altitude, 50 meters. 40, 30. Every sensor is watching. Every computer is calculating. Every heartbeat echoes inside your helmet. 20 meters. 10, 5. One mistake, one wrong decision, and humanity's greatest dream dies here. Then, silence. The engines stop. The dust slowly settles. You made it. For the first time in history, a human hasn't come to the moon to visit. They've come to stay. You sit there without moving, listening to nothing. Because outside these walls is a world where no one has ever lived. One final systems check. Oxygen, stable. Suit pressure, stable. Communications, online. Every indicator glows green. You tighten your gloves. Take one slow, deep breath. There is no turning back now. Your hand reaches for the hatch. It stops. Because you suddenly realize the moment this door opens, Earth will no longer be beneath your feet. Only the moon. You pull the handle. The hatch unlocks. A brilliant white light floods the cabin. For one brief second, you can't move. Not because you're afraid, because you know history is waiting on the other side. One careful step, then another. Your boots touch the ladder. Your heartbeat is the only sound inside your helmet. Slow, heavy, real. Finally, your foot reaches the lunar surface. Soft gray dust rises beneath your boot. One footprint, one human, one beginning. A mark that could remain here for millions of years. Because every civilization begins with a single step. You turn around. Behind you, only a trail of footprints. Ahead, an entire world. Silent, untouched. Waiting, you walk farther, across endless gray plains, past craters older than almost anything on Earth. You stop at the edge of a massive ancient crater. Its walls have guarded their secrets for billions of years. You kneel down and pick up a small lunar rock. It feels ordinary, yet it existed long before dinosaurs, long before oceans, long before humanity. It has been waiting billions of years for someone to finally hold it. You keep walking farther, farther, until something feels right. You stop. The ground looks empty, silent, lifeless. To anyone else, it's just another piece of the moon, but not to you. You activate a terrain scanner. A holographic blueprint spreads across the landscape. Habitats, solar arrays, greenhouses, future streets, a future city. In that exact moment, this empty ground stops being just another place on the moon. It becomes the place where humanity will begin again. You look across an endless world of dust. No trees, no rivers, no life, only silence. And suddenly, the mission becomes real. Because surviving here is no longer a dream. It's your responsibility. You open the cargo bay, one by one. The machines awaken. Autonomous rovers, construction robots, life support systems. Everything you've brought from Earth has one purpose: to turn the most lifeless place ever discovered into humanity's next home. Massive solar panels slowly unfold toward the endless sunlight. One after another, they lock into position. For the very first time, humanity begins producing power on another world. The lights come alive. The systems respond. The moon takes its first breath. The habitat begins to expand. Walls rise. Airlocks seal. Communication antennas point back toward Earth. What looked like an empty patch of dust only hours ago now looks like hope. You step inside. The airlock door closes. For a moment, everything is silent. Then, a single sound. Air flowing. Warm. Clean. Artificial. But alive. For the first time, a human breathes inside a home built on the moon. You remove your helmet, not because the mission is over, because the mission has finally begun. Through the small window, Earth hangs above the dark horizon. So beautiful, so distant, so quiet. You realize every person you've ever known, every memory, every goodbye, every hello still exists on that tiny blue world. And yet, home is no longer where you came from. Home is where you're building tomorrow. Morning arrives, not with birds, not with wind, only sunlight, stretching endlessly. Across gray stone, another day, another challenge, another chance to make the impossible possible. You activate the ground scanner. Its signal disappears beneath the surface. Seconds feel like hours. Then, the display changes. A hidden pocket, deep underground, frozen water. You stare, without blinking, because everything has just changed until this moment. Every drop of water had come from Earth. Now, the moon offers its own. The extraction system begins drilling, slowly, carefully. Every vibration echoes through the silent ground. Then, something incredible happens. A clear stream begins flowing through the transparent collection tube, the first usable water ever produced on the moon. You place your hand against the glass, watching it flow, knowing that this isn't just water. It's time. It's survival. It's the future. With water secured, the next dream begins. The greenhouse. Transparent walls rise beneath the black sky. Grow lights flood the empty chamber. Fresh air circulates quietly. Everything waits for one tiny miracle. You kneel, holding a single seed. On Earth, it would mean almost nothing. Up here, it could mean everything. You gently place it into the growing bed, cover it, and wait. Days pass. Nothing changes until one morning. Something does. A tiny green sprout pushes through the gray-growing soil. Small, fragile, beautiful. The first plant ever grown to begin a future on the moon. Every sunrise, it grows taller. Every new leaf proves the impossible can become ordinary. This tiny plant is doing more than growing. It's rewriting human history. Weeks later, you carefully reach forward and harvest the first food ever grown on another world. You don't celebrate. You simply smile because you understand this isn't the end of the mission. It's the beginning of a civilization. Weeks pass, then months. Your success doesn't stay a secret. Back on Earth, billions of people watch something they once believed was impossible. And soon, another spacecraft appears above the lunar horizon. They're not coming to rescue you. They're coming to join you. The engines flare. The dust rises once again. But this landing feels different because this time you're not welcoming a mission. You're welcoming your neighbors. The hatch opens. New astronauts step onto the moon. Behind them comes something even more important. New machines, new supplies, new dreams. Humanity has officially begun. Moving in. Construction starts immediately. Robotic cranes lift enormous habitat modules. Autonomous machines connect tunnels between every structure. Solar arrays stretch farther. Laboratories grow larger. The lonely outpost you built begins transforming into a settlement. Every sunrise brings another building, another system, another breakthrough, until one day you stop and realize you're no longer standing in a base. You're standing in the first city, beyond Earth. Inside the transparent domes, life begins to feel ordinary. Scientists continue their research. Engineers improve the systems. Fresh vegetables are harvested every day. Friends gather to share meals. Laughter echoes through hallways where silence once ruled. For the first time, the moon doesn't feel empty. It feels alive. Years pass. The settlement continues to grow. More ships arrive. More families follow. The lights of the colony shine brighter with every passing year. What began as one footprint has become thousands. One morning, you walk through a beautiful learning dome. Children laugh together. They point toward Earth through the giant glass window. With the same curiosity, their ancestors once looked toward the moon. For them, this place isn't history. It isn't extraordinary. It isn't an impossible dream. It's simply home. You quietly smile. Because this was always the plan. Not to build a base, but to build a future. Time continues. It's silent march. The colony becomes a thriving city. New districts appear. Research centers expand. Parks, gardens, schools, and homes spread across the lunar landscape. Something that once existed only in science fiction has become everyday life. One afternoon, you walk through the city's central plaza. People pass by, living their lives. Children run across the square. Scientists hurry toward laboratories. Families gather together beneath the great transparent dome. At the center stands a bronze statue, a young astronaut, wearing the very suit that started it all. People stop to admire it. Some take photographs. Some simply stand in silence. Very few realize that the real pioneer is quietly standing, only a few steps away, watching, smiling, saying nothing. Because true pioneers don't ask to be remembered. They ask for the future, to be better than the past. You look up. Beyond the dome, Earth still shines, blue and beautiful, against the endless darkness. It no longer feels far away. It feels like where humanity began. And the moon feels like where humanity grew up. One footprint became a path. One habitat became a city. One impossible dream became reality. History doesn't change because the impossible becomes easy. History changes because someone is brave enough to take the first step, and perhaps many years from now, when humanity stands on worlds even farther away, they'll look back at this quiet gray moon and remember. This is where our second home was born.